What do you see? Now I'm going to flip it over. Stay right there.
Hey friends. This is a quick video to follow up on some of my thoughts about my interactions on Twitter with Scott Wolter. I made that video, put it up a few days ago from what we were talking about last week or whatever. I wanted to stay on the credibility issue because I feel like it's pretty important. People tell you all kinds of stuff. You hear things all the time. You have to make decisions about who you trust and who you believe to be honest with you and to tell you the truth, more or less. We can just put it as flat as that. Like if you look up credibility, which I did, credibility, the quality of being trusted and believed in. So credibility ends up being pretty important in science. I am a trained archaeologist. I've been doing this for decades. I don't go out and investigate every single site on my own. I don't look at every single artifact on my own. I don't do every analysis on my own. My colleagues do those things with the materials and the sites that they're working with. I read or listen to what they say, and I can disagree with it on scientific grounds, interpretation, whatever. Did they miss something? But I also make some judgments based on who I think is credible. If I've heard something, some idea or notion or claim that is new to me, I'm not going to necessarily go and repeat the entire analysis. Like you can't do that with every claim that you hear. But I'll talk to one of my colleagues at a conference who, is knowledgeable on the subject. Say I have a question about Hopewell. Say somebody has this new idea about the Hopewell did this or the Hopewell did that. I'll go up to somebody who knows a lot about the Hopewell, who has written about them, who has studied their material remains. I'll say, hey, what do you think about that? The reason I'm asking that question to that particular person is because I find that person credible. I find that that person is trustworthy and believable, and that I can take their opinion. Their opinion counts for something. I want to play a little bit of this video for you, and then we're going to circle back around, and I want to talk about why this sort of thing is a problem for Scott Wolter. Let's watch.
Take a close look at this artifact. What do you see on the top of that artifact? First off, you see that face, but look up on top. A flying saucer? Oh my God. I'm not even kidding. That is a flying saucer. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it around. What do you see there? You see a planet exploding. What the heck? Is that incredible? So we've been looking at all these cool artifacts that absolutely were dug up out of the ground, no way to fake it, come out of the ground, and they actually have ships on them, exploding planets, various different...
Okay, all these artifacts that we were looking at came right out of the ground, no way to fake it, absolutely legit. Scott Wolter's holding it up. A flying saucer? Oh my God. That's his buddy Hutton Pulitzer there, who has to be among the most uncredible people I have ever dealt with, really in any aspect of my life, not just archaeology versus pseudo-archaeology. I won't even go there. Anyway, this is back when they were partners and buddies. Scott Wolter's holding up something that he apparently believes has a depiction of some ancient civilization contact with aliens. It's a flying saucer, oh my God. It's exploding planets, oh my God, what do you see? So there are a number of explanations here, and I can imagine kind of a continuum of what his response to this sort of thing might be, bringing this up. One, he could say, well, that's ancient history. That was all the way back in 2016. It's ironic how often you want to play the history card for somebody who talks about how history is important, and the past matters, and it's important to get it right. Those are things that Scott and I would agree on. I think that it does matter. The past does matter, and it is important to get it right. This is part of the past. This is history. This is Scott Wolter standing there holding something which looks like a piece of junk and oohing and aahing and saying that there are space, it's evidence of, alien contact with the Maya or whoever. And his buddy there, Hutton Pulitzer, they came from the ground, they were excavated, there's no way to fake it, absolutely legit. So another response Scott might have is, well, I didn't actually say these were legitimate artifacts, I was just, doing the show and tell. If I go into a liquor store with my buddy who has a gun, he robs the liquor store and we leave together. We both get caught We go to court, and I tell the judge, well, I wasn't holding the gun, I was just there. He did the actual gun holding. Scott loves to talk about how he's testified in court, and these standards are much, much higher than they are in academia. You would understand that is not a defense. Scott Wolter's silence on the question of whether these are legitimate or not is a tacit endorsement of what Hutton Pulitzer is saying. Third option is that Scott actually does think that this is good evidence. Any of those three options, far in the past, doesn't matter anymore. I didn't actually say they were legitimate artifacts, or they actually are legitimate artifacts. None of those help his credibility at all, in my view. Every person has to make their own judgments about who's credible and who's not. When I look back at his track record on America Unearthed and all the bogus crap that was on that show that we're all supposed to believe, you wonder how you could go through an experience like that and expect anybody to take you seriously. People still do, obviously. But in my judgment, this kind of stuff makes me not believe a word he says. He could tell me the Kensington runestone was sandstone, or it was some kind of metamorphic rock, or whatever. I don't believe it. I'm going to need to see evidence on everything, because you're the guy who held up some ceramic piece of crap and went along with the idea that this is evidence of contact between the Maya and space aliens. You're the one who held up a cast lead quote-unquote sword with a dinosaur on it and said that this is an impeccable piece of evidence. You're the one who had no opinion on this crappy brass sword that would have been the smoking gun to rewrite history. You can say that America Unearthed was for entertainment purposes. It was entertaining. I got a lot of entertainment out of it. But it also fed into this idea that people are not to be trusted. The academy is not to be trusted. Archaeologists are not to be trusted. If I had a drinking game for every time Scott Wolter, shoved his finger in somebody's chest and said, "You're not going to hide that from me," I'd probably need a liver transplant by now. And one of his main shticks was to cast himself as the credible person who's going to bang down the door and get to the truth, and everybody else is hiding things from you. Space aliens on a brand new piece of ceramic that you're going to vouch for on dumb videos. These things still exist. Your show still exists. If I ever were to quote-unquote debate him on the Kensington runestone or something like that, I would want every single scientific sample that he ever took. I want all the raw data, because I don't trust any of those interpretations, because the guy has no credibility with me. None. And it's because of stuff like this. If you want to be credible, you don't spend your capital hawking this kind of crap. And he has spent years now doing that, and yet he wants to be taken seriously. If I ever did something like that, nobody would listen to a word I said again. That's the standard in academics. There are differences in interpretation. Archaeology is a probabilistic pursuit. We can almost never say things with certainty. We can falsify things very well. We have learned a lot about the past using this kind of method of churning through this inductive-deductive cycle. So people are allowed to disagree. People are allowed to be wrong. You never have complete information, so you come up with an interpretation that fits everything you have that is available. New data may show that to be wrong. Facts have an amazing power to kill theories and hypotheses and all that sort of thing, and that's the way you try to set up questions. You don't do this. This is for people who want to make a career out of selling an image or a belief system or whatever. That's why I find him to be completely not credible on much of anything. That doesn't mean he's not right on things. He could have correctly identified the rock type of the Kensington runestone. It's just that I don't believe it without seeing any evidence of it for myself, because he is not credible to me. And he partnered with one of the most uncredible people ever, a person who not only made a lot of factual errors, but made factual misrepresentations continuously. That's how he got to where he was, and who knows whether he will ever show his face in pseudoarchaeology again. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. Scott said he liked my last video. Probably won't like this one. That's okay. Sorry, Scott. We can still talk about facts. I'm just going to actually need to see the receipts before I believe any of them are facts, because you're willing to hold up a piece of modern pottery with a UFO scratched in it and have that reaction. And some of the people who see that will believe it. A lot of them will, and that's why you had 3 or 4 seasons on TV or whatever. So that's what I got. Stay safe out there, everyone.